This is Paul for Redneck Sports. I believe that everybody should win in life, or at least attempt to. The first three maxims of General Robert Neyland's game maxims, I believe apply to everybody. The team that makes the fewest mistakes will win. Play for and make the breaks. When one comes your way, score. If at first the game or the breaks go against you, don't let up. Put on more steam. Welcome to the channel. Now let's discuss some sports. Like, subscribe, comment. Show what your opinion is. Let me know if you like what you've seen. And I thank you for your support. I continuously hear all of these people complaining and whatnot about either Caitlin Clark's skin color or how she's getting treated or all kinds of things. Now, mind you, hardly anybody's getting to talk about Angel Reese, Sabrina Ionescu, any of those players. I mean, you've got some really good players that are in the WNBA. It's supposed to be the best women's basketball league in the world. Yet, to be perfectly honest with you, the WNBA has failed the WNBA. You had Candace Parker, who just retired. My personal opinion, she's the GOAT. Period. She's the greatest pro women's basketball player to ever play. In 1 year, she won her second NCAA championship under arguably one of the best female coaches of all time. She won Olympic gold, and she won a WNBA championship. That should have been marketing gold. But she went to University of Tennessee. So all the Connecticut people were going to be upset if you boosted up a UT player. And it's a southern school, so the northerners are, of course, going to be not paying attention, because Madison Avenue is who everybody listens to when it comes to advertising and whatnot. But she showed through her actions that she not only was a great person, but a great basketball player. Or a great basketball player who happened to be a great person. But she hardly ever got talked about when she was doing everything. She hardly got any news. I blame the WNBA front office for that. The only reason, you take a look at Cameron Brink, Angel Reese, and Caitlin Clark. The three of them are getting a lot of notice. People were already talking about them before they came into the WNBA. Angel Reese has one of the, if not the best, promoters of all time in her corner, who is Shaq. Shaq is somebody who knows how to get noticed. He knows how to address people, and he is her mentor. Cameron Brink is god sister to Steph Curry. His parents are her godparents. Her parents are his godparents. Can't get much better than that on learning what it takes to make it as a professional sports person. Then you have Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark basically had nobody. It was NIL and her talent that got her where she is. She got put on one of the worst teams in the WNBA. She has done quite a bit because of NIL. NIL has done more for the WNBA than the WNBA front office and many of the players have done for themselves all these years. Candace Parker got notice for the WNBA. She did. Now that torch getting passed on to people like Sabrina Ionescu and so many others. Sabrina Ionescu knows how to self-promote. Doesn't matter what her skin color is, she knows how to self-promote in a way that's good for the WNBA. But the WNBA does not know how to self-promote itself. And they're failing women's sports. And that needs to be talked about. Think about this for a second. The NIL, in the short time that it's been around, has caused college athletes to get notice where they wouldn't have gotten notice before. This has allowed these athletes to become household names, and that carries over into the professional arena. Now, not all athletes that have made it big with NIL are going into professional athleticism, but you take the WNBA, look at what the NIL has done for these college female basketball stars. That's carrying over into the WNBA. The WNBA still can't get their act together. Still. But the NIL has done more than the front office of the WNBA. The owners have not been able to do this. So, who's at fault here? They started the WNBA out of, I don't know. I honestly don't know why they started the WNBA. They put no money into it. It's had to be subsidized because when they do have any idea of what's going on, they don't promote it. Candace Parker could literally have been the face of the WNBA all over the country. When she came into the league, they could have gone, look what she did. How many men were able to do this? But they didn't. They did a little bit, but not enough. The WNBA had potential. And then it got to the point where watching the WNBA got to be kind of bad. Watching games where for 5 minutes nobody was scoring. Even when the NBA had some of the toughest defense, lowest scores, they still were scoring. The WNBA can't even say that. That bored people. The person that made the biggest news for the WNBA was somebody who did not violate American law, but she violated the law of another country. And then to get her out of prison, we had to trade for somebody we shouldn't have traded for. So basically, we had we had Brittany Griner being the face of the WNBA. That was too divisive of a face. I don't care. I'm tired of hearing these WNBA players talking politics when they're talking politics in a way that is bad for their own sport. Michael Jordan said it best. Even Republicans buy shoes when he was asked, quit talking politics, talk sports. Quit talking about your pay, because when you start talking about your pay and people start going, yeah, but you're not making any money, you're getting subsidized. Talking revenue sharing, does nothing. Talking getting equal pay does nothing. I honestly don't think that the NBA players should be making the kind of money that they're making. But guess what? The league is making the money to be able to pay them and also pay the WNBA players. And NIL has done more to fix this situation than the WNBA front office has. Are there ways to fix this? Yes. And we need to pay attention to those things. Can you imagine what some of the athletes of the past could have done if they had had NIL? If the NCAA had not done the things that they had done to try to steal money off the backs of the student athletes. I mean, basically, that's what they were doing. These student athletes were making them billions, and they decided that they wanted to keep them from being able to make any money at the same time. It was not a symbiotic relationship in any way, shape, or form. The NCAA couldn't have the control that they wanted, and they're still mad that they lost that control. But NIL has been good for the student athlete. Ask the students who are getting millions of dollars in sports that they have no hope of going professional with. Talk to the athletes who are getting the experience of dealing with sponsors, that are dealing with making money, that are going to have that chance when they go further in life. Caitlin Clark's already proven that her NIL experience got turned into a way to make her millions while playing a sport that's only making her tens of thousands of dollars, while also that sport is losing massive amounts of money. You can't turn the WNBA around easily. It can be, but it's going to take a while. The ineptitude of the leadership is glaring. They focus too much on University of Connecticut over any other college. Just listen to what was talked about at the beginning of the season, as more people got to hear the things, and they were talking about Connecticut. Yes, there's a team in Connecticut, and you've got pro players that are from Connecticut, but Candace Parker, if she hadn't retired this year, how much do you think you'd be hearing about her? You'd hear a little bit about her, but she's a University of Tennessee player. Of course you're not going to hear much about her. Connecticut has gotten all the things. I hate to tell you this, but Padhead Summit did more for women's college basketball, and in turn did more for WNBA than anything Connecticut has done. You can dislike me for that statement. I don't care. But she did. Padhead Summit did more for women's basketball, professional or college, than University of Connecticut has ever done. I'm not even going to bring up the coach's name just because, well, he doesn't deserve being talked about. Ooh, he's had winning teams. At what cost? Yeah, he did by the rules, but Tennessee wasn't wanting to just play by the rules. They were wanting to hold something up. And they did. For decades. And so you're going to punish Candace Parker and the WNBA for that? Because I'm sorry, I'm tired of hearing about Connecticut when it comes to WNBA, because what have they done for the sport? Seriously, what have they done for the sport? What has that front office done for the sport of women's basketball? They haven't made money for it. They've barely gotten any notice for it. In the past few years, you had Brittany Griner, and then Sabrina Ionescu made a statement last year, and now you've got Caitlin Clark. And also, Angel Reese, who is getting noticed, by the way, is a good thing. And Cameron Brink is standing in the background a little bit of all this, keeping her mouth shut on the politics of it, but still shining. At least Cameron Brink got put on a team that can, do something. Angel Reese is playing with a player who is known for their violent outburst on the court in Kennedy Carter. The Caitlin Clark incident was not a one and done thing. It wasn't because of Caitlin Clark. It was because Carter is that kind of person. She is the Bill Laimbeer of the WNBA. And all of this that we're noticing, that people are talking about it now, is because of NIL. Caitlin Clark was a great basketball player, is a great basketball player, will be a great basketball player. But she wouldn't have gotten the notice if she wasn't doing so amazing with NIL. Because Candace Parker did amazing things at the University of Tennessee. Back-to-back national championships. Gold medal. She did everything right. She was that star power. And the WNBA squandered it. Because they, one, don't like the University of Tennessee for some reason. And two, they're inept. So, it needs to get to the point where you replace the leadership of the WNBA, or you're going to continue hurting women's basketball to the point that what we see now will just be a bump, and it will go back to the point that nobody wants to watch anything when it comes to the WNBA. They're on record, or it's on record right now, that they're going to lose $50 million this year. Seriously. And they're talking, and the players are talking revenue sharing. Okay, that means you owe money. Quit talking quit talking get what you're getting paid. Period. End of story. Don't talk about getting paid. Don't let the WNBA front headquarters do anything but talk about how they can get noticed. You want money coming in, then get noticed. The people that are getting you notice, treat them right, which you've done. There is a sign of respect for the way that they're treating. It is a sign of respect for the way, in a way, a small way. Most of it's just bullying. Most of it's just you have no idea how to act like people. I care less about your gender. You don't know how to act like a person. You'd rather do politics. Quit talking politics. Quit talking about pay. Start talking about basketball. Get on the court and give a product that people want to watch. And when you're talking about anything dealing with your sport as a whole, talk about how the WNBA front office needs to pay attention to the players and how to market them correctly. That's how you're going to get the pay that you want. Nobody owes you anything. Sabrina Ionescu last year, well, no, I take that back. That was this year. Pardon me. Sabrina Ionescu has done her job. She has worked to get noticed. Candace Parker did her job to get noticed. The front office and the Players Association have failed. So quit talking about getting paid and start talking about what you need to do to keep people's attention. And that's how you're going to make money. And that is how NIL has done more for women's basketball than the WNBA, the Players Association, or, in all honesty, quite a few of the players. But it's the WNBA front office that has done the worst damage. So, this is Paul with Redneck Sports. Y'all have a good day.